Good day, everybody. This is the second part tutorial for the TPA process, covering the editing of the video, the trimming of your video, and so it would be acceptable for TK20. And this tutorial is specific to the Windows environment, as we'll be covering Windows MovieMaker. You should have already recorded your teaching event and have that on the camera. Now we're ready to download that to the computer. And so the remaining steps that we'll do here is transfer your files from the camera down to the computer. We will move that recording then into Windows MovieMaker, which is editing software that will allow you to trim the front and back end of your clip if you need to. And then we'll compress the file using a compression software program called Handbrake. Once we have that compressed to an appropriate size for TK20, TK20 has a file size limit of 100 megabytes, and so we need to be able to deliver the clip of our teaching event in under 100 megabytes in size, and so we use Handbrake to do that compression. And then once we've done that, then you'll upload your compressed file into the TK20 for your reviewers. So this tutorial will cover Windows MovieMaker, which will allow you to trim off any extraneous material that you may have on the beginning or the ending of your clip. For example, if you're shooting your teaching event and you start the camera rolling, but it takes you a minute or so to get settled in before you actually begin, you can remove that extraneous material. Keep in mind that your clips need to be unedited from start to finish once we supply that for your reviewers. So there can't be any edits done within the 10-minute instruction or the 15-minute instruction, whatever your criteria is that's required. They need to be one continuous clip, but Windows MovieMaker will allow us to remove extraneous material on the front and back end of the clip. The compression software that we use, Handbrake, we'll cover in the next tutorial. That would be the Part 3 tutorial. Generally, most cameras have two primary functions of recording the video and then playing back that recorded video that you have. And so with your camera, you'll most likely be using a USB connection. You can see in the lower left corner of this image, we have the USB connection. We would plug that cable into that port, and then the other end looks like a traditional USB, kind of a thumb drive connection that would go into your computer. Once your camera is turned on, you can change it from the camera mode to the playback mode. And once you do that, it might take a minute or so for your computer to recognize that as a new USB device, but you will see a rather common window pop up on your screen called the autoplay window. And this window is pretty common because when we plug in flash drives, we often see this, and most of us will choose the open folder to view files option near the bottom. But in this case, we want to use the option at the top of the screen or top of the window that says import pictures and videos. So once your camera is connected, this window pops up. Go ahead and click on that. And then you will have a pop-up window come allowing you to import these the pictures and the videos that are on your camera. However, we don't exactly know where those files are going on the computer, so I would highly suggest that you click the import settings link at the bottom left corner of that pop-up window, and that will allow you to designate exactly where you want your clips to go. Once you click on that import settings link, another pop-up window will come up, and you'll see circled here is an area where you can import your videos, or where your imported videos will go to. And if this is the first time that you've used Windows MovieMaker, oftentimes what you'll see in that drop-down, it'll say My Pictures. And to me personally, it doesn't make sense that my videos are going to a folder called My Pictures. So using the Browse button to the right of that drop-down, I'd suggest just creating a folder on your desktop, so this is very easy to find as we go through this. So you'll get a pop-up that will say that the import window has to be refreshed. Simply say OK, and that'll bring you back to that import window again. You can click on the import button and your videos will begin to download to the computer, and they will be located in that folder that you created on your desktop. So they should be very easy to find. Once your files have loaded to the desktop folder that you created, let's launch Windows MovieMaker by going to the Start menu in the lower left corner of the screen and selecting Windows MovieMaker. Once you do so, you will see the screen appear as it does in front of you. We have the larger video window on the left side to play back the video clips, and then on the right side is our clip bin. So files that we bring into the Windows MovieMaker will be displayed here. In the upper left-hand menu, you'll notice a button that says Add Videos and Photos. You can click on that, and you can locate the video clips that you have on your folder on your desktop that you created. I'm just going to select a file that I have here and bring it in. And you'll see now that the video gets displayed over on the left-hand side. The clip appears over on the right-hand side in the clip bin. And in the left part of my clip, I have a black line, vertical line, and that's my cursor. And you can see if I grab that cursor and drag through the clip, I can scan visually through the clip. And so you'll see some movement as we go here. And you'll notice if I go back to the beginning, there was a little bit of extraneous material from the news reporter that was here before the actual footage that I want to show appears. So if I want to trim this area off, that's kind of what we'll be doing here within Windows Movie Maker. Across the top are many options in the toolbars that you can use. We really don't need to use any of them for this TPA exercise, but we will want to be able to trim off the front. For example, the beginning of this clip that I had here, I'd like to trim that off. And so I'm going to do so by selecting the Edit tab in the far right of our menu at the top. I'm going to click on Edit, and you'll notice on the right side of the Edit menu we have options here to set our start point and to set our end point. These are really the only two editing options that you'll need to do within Windows Movie Maker for this particular clip that you'll be making for the TK20 system. And so again, by grabbing the cursor to the left or right, I'm going to place it where I want the file to begin. So if, for example, I have some extraneous material at the beginning of my clip that I want to get rid of, I'll place the cursor where I want it to cut, and I'll say Set Start Point. And now you can see that that material at the beginning has been eliminated, and my clip actually begins. I can do the same thing at the very end of my clip. So if there's some extraneous material that I want to cut off, I can place the cursor where I would like to make that cut, and then hit Set Endpoint. Once we've done that, you have trimmed off all of the material that you don't want to display within the clip on the front and back ends. Keep in mind that your clips need to be unedited within the 10-minute or whatever your time constraint is for your TPA criteria. One thing I did want to point out is in the lower right-hand corner of your menu, there is a slider control that allows you to zoom in or zoom out on the clip. So if, for example, when your clip imported in, you can see that I'm shrinking down the view. I'm not changing the actual length of the video clip. It's still, you know, it's 10 minutes or whatever it might be. I'm just visually changing the length of it. So if your clip comes in and is rather small like this, you can grab the slider in the lower right-hand corner and either zoom in or zoom out. And by zooming it out or expanding it, it just gives you a little bit more control over the clip in terms of fine-tune editing. So that just can be helpful. Once you have removed any kind of extraneous material on the front and the back end of your clips, we can now save this as a file. And so if you notice in the menu across the top of your screen again, the very far left menu looks like a blue tab. And if you click on that, you'll have an option here to save your project, to publish the movie, to save the movie, and some various other options. We're going to go to Save Movie. And since we will be compressing this later, we don't need to do any kind of compression that are available in some of these other features here. We're going to select Save Movie for Computer. And if we select Save Movie for Computer, a window will pop up. And again, I would just suggest that you go to your desktop, find the folder that you created on your desktop. You can see down below here that you can name your movie, whatever you would like to name it. And then you can hit the Save button, and we can save that to that location. Once we have that done, our last step will be the compression process.